Hello, it's Rafael Gutierrez again, and today's question actually came from John Titchen. He has a studio, really great, really great martial artist. He has his own channel on practical karate and practical martial arts in general. Uh, would recommend taking a look at it. And one of the things that he had asked is why the shots to the liver are so devastating. And I decided I'm going to take it a little farther than that. I'm going to first talk about why they're so devastating, and second, why a lot of people don't necessarily hear about them. Now, the first thing to look at is where the liver is, and I'm going to use my own lab manual for this, and you can see it here. I wrote in the liver here. You can see if you make a quadrant here in the abdomen, using the belly button where the X is, your liver technically is in the upper right quadrant. But the thing is, if you look closely, you'll notice that it's only about, well, in this picture it looks a lot bigger, but it's only about an inch or two below where your ribs are. What that means is when people are hitting the rib, usually, or when people are hitting the liver or think they're hitting the liver, usually they're hitting too low. They're hitting the right upper quadrant, which it really would be closer to the top of the right upper quadrant. And that's the way you would actually be able to hit the liver. The reason it's so devastating if you do hit the liver is the liver is a soft bag of blood, is the best way to think about it. It's a type of tissue called reticular tissue, which it's really hard to stitch. It's really hard, if it tears, to keep from continuously bleeding. But it does have to get hit relatively hard. Now, I looked at my experience and I talked to other people to see if they've ever seen any injuries that came in with it was just liver damage. And most of them that we found were car accidents. There were a couple which were sport related. I actually had to go to literature, and I found that there were a couple case studies where it was someone who was playing either football, soccer, a collision and ended up causing damage. Another was a young boy playing football, American football, got hit and it ruptured his liver. It can happen. If you look at how many cases we have it in professional sports, we don't really see too many of them, so not something that we actually would look at. The other thing is sometimes people can cause lacerations of the liver through blunt direct traumas, such as would happen in a sport where two people run into each other or in boxing. But the thing is, usually those types of injuries, they require medical attention, but it's more of an observation type thing. We want to make sure the person is not going to die on us. And so the observation of abdominal pain is important. From a blunt abdominal trauma, it is about 40% of life-threatening illnesses from that area, which would affect the liver. A lot of them have multiple other injuries, meaning it's not just the liver that gets hurt, it's something else. Now, if we turn back to the picture, I like to show my picture. It's not my picture, it's a free use picture, so anyone can use that. You'll notice that one of the problems with the liver is liver would actually be coming even up here. I have to draw a line so it'd come across this way. And one of the problems with hitting the liver, thinking about it in the abdominal cavity, is it is protected by ribs a little higher up. The disadvantage is if the ribs are broken, it can puncture the liver, which will end up then leading to massive hemorrhage. And so that's one of the reasons why liver shots can be deadly, and the reason why we don't see too many of them. Most people are not trying to hit the liver where the liver really is. They're going farther down, thinking, okay, it's just somewhere in the general vicinity there. The other thing that is important to actually look at is historic. Why initially going for a liver was such an important thing. And a lot of it can be dealt with infections. If we look at most of human history, what was the leading causes of death were infections. Poor hygiene, poor infrastructure in cities led to a lot of preventable infectious diseases. And so if someone was carrying some sort of disease which caused swelling of the liver or the spleen, for instance, any problems with the diaphragm could potentially rupture it more. That is also, by the way, one of the reasons why when high school kids end up getting mononucleosis, which is a viral infection which leads to splenomegaly, they are told not to play any contact sports. You take it easy because that is something that can actually rupture the liver. And so hopefully this is something that will help you guys. I didn't want to make it too long today. Have a lot of things I've been trying to do, and I hope I can get more questions answered, and next time I'm going to try to use the lab again. Thank you for your time.